book review on video. This time Midtvinterblod by the Swedish writer Måns Kallentoft. I thought it was his debut novel, but turned out I was wrong. It wasn't. But it's his big breakthrough. Certainly the first thing that's gotten him noticed outside of Sweden. The book was published in 2007, published in Norwegian in 2008. I don't think it's been published in English yet, but it's going to be under the title Midwinter Sacrifice. The Swedish and also the Norwegian title, which is a direct translation, is a bit more, it has more of a double meaning than Midwinter Sacrifice, but it's a good translation, I think. This is the first, apparently, of 3 books about the same people in the same setting. The second 2 have not been published yet, but I will definitely be reading them. Definitely. This is a thriller, a mystery. It takes place in the Swedish town of Linköping in the dead of winter, in a very, very cold February. The plot is deceptively simple. A dead body is found and the police need to figure out who did it. It's a relatively straightforward murder mystery. The dead man is found, as the book opens, it's the first thing that happens. He's found hanging from a tree in the middle of a field, in basically the middle of nowhere. He didn't die on scene. He has an awful lot of wounds, cuts and scrapes, but there's no blood. He's been transported from somewhere to somewhere. And as they start digging, they found out that he's a pretty pathetic guy. He's a loner. He has an awful family history. And his personal history is tied in with that of a family in the local area, which seems to have a lot of skeletons in their closet, but perhaps not the ones that the police find the most striking, the most obvious. There's also a lot of interaction with police officers and their stories from the background of the story as well. The main character, Måns, she's a detective at the Linköping police. She's a single mother of a 13-year-old girl. She's quite young. She had the kid when she was 20, so she's 33 or 34. And she's kind of struggling as a single mother. She's struggling as a single woman a little bit. And her whole, sort of, her life is the focal point of the book. Her relationship with her daughter, with her ex-husband, with her parents, and the way she deals with her job. It's all examined quite closely, and I thought that was one of the real strengths of the book. I totally bought that character. I really felt for her. I thought she was very well-rounded. All the characters were. They have interesting backstories that aren't sort of forced center stage, like, oh, pity them, or oh, the humanity, but just get glimpses of the police officers' lives in the background, and I think it's just, it really works. It works very well. I think the interpersonal side of it is very well described, very convincing, and also the kind of more or less small town life where everyone knows someone who's heard something, someone who used to work wherever, and everything is sort of connected when they start digging. And everyone has secrets to hide. It says on the cover here that some paper in Sweden has said that forget about Stig Larsson, Kallentoft is better. I'm not sure I'm ready to put my name to that statement, because Stig Larsson obviously is, or was, absolutely fantastic writer, and also, I have to say, much, much more ambitious in scope. I mean, he writes, or wrote international thrillers, really, really ambitious, huge books. This is a huge, big fat book too, but it's not as fat as it looks, actually. It's a very quick, very easy read. it's a small scene, it's a small group of people, it's a small setting. This has nowhere near the scope of the Millennium series. So I don't think that the comparison is quite fair, and I don't think that Kallentoft will be able to engage the public, so to speak, in the way that Larsson has managed, sadly, unbeknownst to himself. I also think that the characters in this book are too normal compared to Lisbeth Salander, Larsson's heroine. Because these people really are normal, everyday people. They just happen to have slightly unusual jobs in that they're police officers and they're working on a peculiar murder. But they're normal people. Malin is a strong woman, but she's no Salander. But I really thought this was a very good read. It was very well written. I really like the language here. It's also very well translated, which is quite rare, because most Norwegian books are translated relatively badly, so that you can tell, just by reading, which language it was translated from, because the Englishness of the language shows through, or the Swedishness, or the Germanness, or whatever. But this, whoever did this, I'm not sure who did it, but certainly Nina Midtvinter here. She's done a really good job. The translation here is very good, so can only hope that the English one will be of the same quality. He uses some literary sort of unusual ways of grasping the story. He has the victim, the initial murder victim, talk to us from basically beyond the grave. Because he's dead right from the start, you know that. The book opens with his body being found. And he then, in short sections, and also in some kind of direct speech or some little interjections to the characters, he talks. Of course, in the book, he talks to the characters, but they don't hear him because he's dead. So you, the reader, you're the person that he speaks to, and it sounds kind of stupid. It sounds like it might have been a bad move, but I thought it really works. I thought it gave extra depth to the story, and I really thought it worked. I would not think that anyone should be put off by that, because it's a clever way, it's a clever trick that he's pulled off here. I think it really works. And also the book is written in the present tense, which also gives it an immediacy, which I thought was really really beneficial to the story. Overall, a very good book. A plot that isn't too original, but original enough, and certainly with a great cast of characters that are very well described, very well created. I will be reading certainly the next 2 installments in this series, and if I come across any other books by Kallentoft, I will definitely be reading those as well. If you read Swedish or Norwegian, definitely get hold of it, and when it comes out in English, if you like an intelligent and well-written mystery, thriller, crime thing from an unusual setting, then definitely read this book, Midwinter Sacrifice by Måns Kallentoft.